Hi everyone and welcome to this Tutor to You live stream. This afternoon we are going to be revising Unit 3, Anatomy Physiology. I've got Charlotte with me this afternoon. Hi Charlotte, how are you doing?
Hi everyone, hi.
And today, if I just put our PowerPoint on, we are going to be looking at topic revision and exam skills for our 1, 2 and 3 mark questions. So if I just give you a quick reminder of what is required for those questions. So in your exam, these questions will test your knowledge and your understanding of the structure, organisation and function of the human body and also relevant medical research. The command words used for these questions are identify, state, name and give. So for example, you might be asked to identify two structures on a diagram, or state two functions of the kidney, or name a hormone, or give two effects of something. So you will be expected to have 2 diagrams per paper that you'll have to label. And there's always one question where data is presented to you, either in a graph, a table, or a text paragraph, which you'll have to interpret in some way. To answer all of these 1, 2 and 3 mark questions, you need to give brief and accurate answers that are relevant to any given context. So let's have a go at our first activity. So the first thing I want you to do is give me 2 functions of the nucleus. I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the clock and there will be a musical timer. And during that time I want you to write, you can just write one function of the nucleus that you can remember into the chat box and that will be fabulous. Let's go. So I'm looking forward to all of you contributing. I'll give some shout outs to people as well. I can also give you a round of applause if you give me a really good answer.
We've got quite a few with us tonight.
Yeah, I can see 20 people on the screen. I'm really hoping
for some answers to come through.
Hoping they're going to answer, Charlotte. Otherwise, you're going to have to give me some functions of the nucleus.
Testing my brain with this one.
Okay, we've got loads to get through, so I will reveal the answers. But guys at home, please do interact and type your answers. So, 2 functions of the nucleus you could have had: storing DNA and coordinating cell activities. So you can think of the nucleus maybe as like the computer part of the cell. So it stores the DNA and instructions and it coordinates cell activities. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I would like you to give me 2 functions of the Golgi apparatus, and then if you can, link that to its structure. But that second part is quite tricky, so if you can just give me 2 functions of the Golgi apparatus on their own, that'd be fabulous. But if you can link it to the structure, even better. So again, I'm going to give you a timer, and please do put your answers in the chat. Don't worry about getting it wrong. We're all here to learn. Let's go. I'm always tempted to do a little dance when the music's on. So the Golgi apparatus, it's in the cell.
Style.
What does it do? Jazzy music.
Yeah.
I can see that there's 28 of you watching this live stream. Somebody's got to know a function of the Golgi apparatus. Do we have any takers? Everyone's very quiet this evening, Charlotte.
They are, aren't they? Can't leave it all to me.
Okay. Charlotte, do you know any functions of the Golgi apparatus?
I will be honest. It's been a while since I've taught this.
Okay.
And
I'll
I
refresh your memory.
Can't remember. When the answers come up, I'll probably know.
Okay. So there are 2 faces to the Golgi apparatus stack. You've got the cis face and the trans face. So at the cis face of the Golgi stack, that's the part of the organelle where proteins enter the endoplasmic reticulum for processing. Someone's just put, Anissa said, my mind is so blank. Yeah, hopefully we'll get over the blank mind tonight so we don't have it in the exam. So at the cis face, the substances like protein come into the endoplasmic, into the enter from the endoplasmic reticulum for processing. And then those proteins are repackaged in the structure of the Golgi apparatus. And then at the transphase, they exit in the form of smaller detached vesicles, so like little bubbles. So the Golgi apparatus is repackaging and processing the proteins.
Now you've refreshed my memory. It was, we were thinking this about a London tube and the way that you would pack onto it and then release later.
Oh, very good. I like that.
Was a good way of thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I like that. So the passengers all piling on Oxford Circus, that's your proteins.
Yeah.
And then they get repackaged and further on they exit individually at different stations. Excellent.
Yeah.
Really like that. Okay. Slightly easier now, I think. So on the screen now I have A, B, C and D. We've got nervous, epithelial, connective and muscle. I'm going to give you 4 clues which are describing one of those things. And Charlotte, I want you to have a go, but definitely people at home, I want you to have a go at this. So your first clue, one of the tissue types found in the body. So Charlotte, what do we think? Could it be one of those in particular?
Need some more. Well, we've got connective tissue. We've got epithelial.
Yeah.
I think I need some more clues.
Okay. So yeah, all of those are tissue types. So let's have a look at the second one. So also not necessarily that easy. Covers a wide diversity of subtypes. So this tissue type has lots of subtypes. Does that eliminate any for you, Charlotte? I think all of them have quite a lot of subtypes, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, next clue. Yeah. Provides structural support to organs and tissues. I think we might be able to remove some nervous tissue. I don't think that's about structural support, is it?
No, definitely. I don't think nervous, and I'm not sure on epithelial.
Okay. Let's go for our final clue and hopefully we will get it. So this tissue type includes adipose tissue, cartilage, bone and blood. Anyone at home want to have a go at the answer? Is it A, nervous, B, epithelial, C, connective or D, muscle? Charlotte's already said not nervous tissue and not epithelial. So out of connective tissue and muscle tissue, which one includes adipose, cartilage, bone and blood? Anissa at home, Sia at home, what do you think? C or D? Charlotte, what are you going for?
I'm going with C.
Okay, so you're going with C, connective. Anissa says muscle tissue, but she's not sure. Okay, let's have a look. Yep, it is connective tissue. So adipose, cartilage, bone and blood are all types of connective tissue. Okay, I think the next activity is very similar. Yep, so we've got the same 4 tissue types and our first clue is one of the tissue types in the body. So it could be any of them. Yep. Unlikely to be the one we've just done though. Okay, comprised primarily of specialised cells called neurons. That's quite a big clue, I think. Have a think about it. Next clue. Glial cells provide structural support, insulation and nourishment. And then the final clue. Organised into 2 main systems, CNS and I think that should be PNS, not ONS. Central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So is the answer A, B, C or D? Waiting for someone at home. Okay, someone has said nervous. Well done. Well done, that person. In fact, you can have a round of applause.
Well done.
Brilliant. Nervous tissue. Apologies about my typo there. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, there will always be one question on your paper which is about data. You could be given a graph, you could be given a chart, a table, or just a paragraph of text that describes some data. So let's have a look at a question that you might have. So for example, you could get a bar chart like the one on the screen. And a question you might be asked is, what conclusions can be drawn about deaths from cardiovascular disease, for 2 marks. So you need to look at your chart there. It says, the title says Global Causes of Death 2000, 2010, 2019. And then those are colour coded. So for the year 2000, it's yellow. For 2010, it's red. And for 2019, it's blue. And then you've got down the side, cardiovascular disease, cancer, respiratory, etc. And then along the bottom, you've got the number of deaths. So we're asking you specifically, what conclusions can you draw about cardiovascular disease? So what I want you to write in the chat is just 2 things you could say that this graph shows you about cardiovascular disease. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the clock.
I think it's quite important when you see graphs like this that you say what you see. I think a lot of students tend to overcomplicate a graph, whereas you literally just need to state the obvious. That's what the question is asking you. It's asking you to say what you see, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's really good advice. So hopefully someone will give us a really nice answer.
Hopefully.
Okay, would anyone at home like to give us an answer? So there's 2 marks. So as an examiner, I would be looking for 2 points about cardiovascular disease that I can see based on this graph. And like Charlotte says, just saying what you can see. So Charlotte, what would you maybe say to me for your 2 marks?
Well, I think it's quite obvious that cardiovascular diseases, we've got the highest death rate there compared to all others.
Yep.
And then we could also say that it's getting worse as time's going on as well.
Yep, totally agree with you. It's as simple as that for your 2 marks. So in all years that data is provided for, cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death. So the most deaths are from cardiovascular diseases, and that's really obvious, isn't it, from the graph? Really clear to see. And then also, as you said, Charlotte, the number of deaths from cardiovascular disease have increased over the period of time shown. So in the 19 years from 2000 to 2019, you can see that cardiovascular disease deaths have increased quite a lot. And that's it. That's all you need to do for your 2 marks. So let's have a go at another one. Oh, no, it's not a data one. It's a give me 3. Okay, so back to functions. I would like to know 3 functions of the pituitary gland. So think about what you know about the endocrine system and what you know about the pituitary gland, which is in your brain. What does it do? What things does it control? I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the timer, and hopefully we'll get some comments from you at home. Remember, your endocrine system is about hormones. So do you know any hormones that the pituitary secretes? What do those hormones do? What do they control? Five seconds left. I'm hoping that Anissa or A might be able to comment, even if you just give me 1.
There's a round of applause in it for you if you do.
I could even give you an air horn as well. Okay, brilliant. Someone has commented, stimulates hormones to the glands. Yep. What has Anissa said there?
Send signals to the brain and the nervous system.
Okay. Can we have any specifics from anyone? Any really specific actions that the pituitary or the hormones that it secretes has?
We do need to remember that in your exam you can't give a broad answer. You need to be specific, or else you will not pick those little marks up.
Yeah, that's why the 1 and 2 and 3 mark questions seem like, oh yeah, they're really easy, but if you're not specific enough, you just don't get the marks. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at my answers. Okay, so sometimes the pituitary gland is called the master gland because it secretes a wide variety of hormones that regulate the activity of other glands throughout the body. It produces growth hormone, also known as GH, which stimulates growth and development of bones and tissues. And it also releases hormones such as follicle stimulating hormone, also called FSH, and luteinizing hormone, also called LH, that regulate the reproductive system. So these are the kind of specifics that you need to give in your answers. I've put in the chat the link to the page where you can download the PowerPoint afterwards. So once we finish, I'll just correct any little typos that I've seen in the presentation, and then I'll upload it to that website. You can download it and use this to revise from in your own time, okay? So you don't need to worry about remembering every single detail that we're telling you. You can also watch the replay as well. Okay, so we have an organ in our body called a spleen. Hopefully you've all heard of it. I would like to know, what 3 functions can you remember of the spleen? So what 3 things is our spleen responsible for? What actions does it carry out in our body? Again, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Try and give me some kind of answer. It doesn't have to be like the perfect exam answer, but just some ideas and things that you know about the spleen would be fabulous. So let's start the timer.
This is a challenging one, Liz.
Yeah, it's a lesser known organ in our body for sure.
Yeah.
I think like all these questions, you either know them or you don't. Like, there's a lot to cover in Unit 3, so it's about literally learning, recall, you know, practicing flashcards.
I think sometimes you need to pair the organ with what system that you would link it with as well. So for me, I think it's the lymphatic system, the immune system. Would I be correct there?
Yep. Definitely.
Just checking my own understanding.
Plays a big role in the immune system. Okay, any answers from home? So we give you a few moments. Just aware that we've got loads to get through and we've only got 13 minutes left. Okay, let's reveal and we can talk about it. Okay, so it filters your blood. So macrophages, which are part of your immune system, actively remove old or damaged red blood cells, cellular debris and foreign particles. So that happens in your spleen. Also, it's the site of the destruction of red blood cells, also known as erythrocytes, that are too old, too damaged or no longer work. And it's also where usable, reusable elements of your blood cells, red blood cells, are recycled. So for example, the iron released from heme is recycled, transported back to the bone marrow, where it can be used in the production of new red blood cells. So the spleen is really important in looking after your red blood cells, essentially. So if you can find a way to remember and associate the spleen with red blood cells, that will really help you. Let's move on. Okay, the lineup again. So across the top, I've got A, veins, B, the lungs, C, the heart, and D, arteries. I'm going to give you some clues and I want to know what is being described here. This one's hopefully a bit of an easier one, so I really want you to contribute at home. Our first clue, it is found in the cardiovascular system. Process of elimination, anything you're getting rid of at this point, Charlotte?
B.
Okay, the lungs, which are part of what system?
The respiratory system.
Yes, perfect. Okay, second clue. Requires a good blood supply, which is provided by coronary arteries. I think that's quite a strong hint. Let's have a look at the next one.
It is.
Works through regular and rhythmic squeezing. Anyone at home, for a round of applause and an air horn, want to tell me what it is before I release the final clue? I'm looking at you, Anissa and ARIXD. Okay, let's go with the last clue. Approximately the size of your fist. So your closed fist, like, put it on the camera like that. This organ is approximately that size. Come on, someone at home must know this one. This is probably the easiest question of the night. Everyone's so shy. Charlotte.
They are, aren't they?
Let's put them out of their misery. What is it?
It's the heart.
It is your heart, yes. There we go. So the heart is the main organ in your cardiovascular system. It really needs a good blood supply because the heart is a muscle. And
Oh,
if the
we've got some answers coming through now.
brilliant, if the blood supply to the heart is blocked off, then the heart muscle will get damaged, and that can cause a heart attack. It works obviously through regular and rhythmic squeezing to pump the blood around your system, and it's approximately the size of your fist. Okay, brilliant. Well done for those that said. Okay, so now we're getting into a bit more specifics, a bit trickier. On the board I've got A, left ventricle, B, left atrium, C, right ventricle, and D, right atrium. So what am I describing? It is found in the cardiovascular system. What do we think, Charlotte?
Doesn't
help.
Eliminate any, no.
Yep. Okay, next one. At the bottom, it is connected to one of the ventricles by the tricuspid valve. Got all these tricky words again. What do we think? Let's go for the next clue.
I'm trying to picture the heart in my head.
It's tricky. At the top is connected to the superior vena cava. And then the last clue, it receives deoxygenated blood from the body via the superior vena cava. So if you know how your heart works, if you can picture it in your mind with the ventricles, the atriums, the left and the right side, where the blue blood is, where the red blood is, you might be able to work it out. I actually think it's quite tricky. It is the right atrium. Okay.
I was going with right.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't figure out if it was the top or the bottom.
Oh, well
challenging,
done.
isn't it?
Somaya's got it right. Yes, it is challenging, and also you have to remember that when you look at the heart on the page, you have to imagine what it is like flipped around in your body. I always
and you have to remember that you're not generally going to have that diagram in front of you either, so it's need to be able to have a photographic memory, I think.
Yeah. Well, Somaya got it right, so let's give her a round of applause.
Definitely, well done.
And in fact, an air horn. I like that one. Okay, so another tricky one. This time we've got A, tricuspid valve, B, superior vena cava, C, pulmonary artery, and D, aorta. So your first clue, found in the cardiovascular system. I think we know all of those are. Second clue, this ascends, so that means goes up from the left ventricle and arches over the heart. So this is something that's going up and over. That might give you a big clue. The main artery that carries oxygenated blood away from the heart. So this is your red blood, your oxygenated blood that is being pumped into your systemic system. And it goes through an artery called the what? And the final clue, if you have an aneurysm, that means a bulging or a weakening of the walls of this large artery. It's a serious medical condition, so it can cause death. It can be quite catastrophic. Does anyone know what this is at home? I think we can eliminate A and B. Is it the pulmonary artery or is it the aorta? Think about what you know about the word pulmonary, if you do know anything about it. Remember I said it's about the systemic circulation. Charlotte, do you know what it is?
I'm definitely going to go with C, I think. Pulmonary relates to your lungs, and I'm thinking oxygenated blood.
Okay.
That's my logic.
Okay. What do we think at home? Do you think she's right?
I might not be right. It's not my specialist area.
Is it the main artery that carries oxygenated blood away from the heart? Let's have a look. It is the aorta.
Oh, no.
So pulmonary is about supplying to the lungs. Aorta is into the systemic circulation, and it's the really big fat, on the diagram, a big fat red artery that arches over the top of the heart. Okay. As I said at the beginning, you're always going to have a couple of diagrams to label. So let's have a go at this. I'm going to move really quickly through this, guys. So on the diagram, I've got number 1 indicated, and I'm saying it's a tubular structure in the respiratory system that connects the larynx to the bronchi of the lungs. Is that A, B, C, or D? So A, lungs, B, trachea, C, intercostal muscles, or D, diaphragm? What do we think? I'm going to move really quickly through so we can get through everything. It is your trachea. It's that thick tube that you can feel if you squeeze your throat here. Okay, the next one, number 2. I'm not sure if you can see where it's pointing to. It's pointing to like a red piece where it alternates between grey and red around the outside of the lungs. So plays a crucial role in the mechanics of breathing and are involved in the expansion and contraction of the rib cage during respiration. Is this A, trachea, B, diaphragm, C, lungs, or D, intercostal muscles?
We're getting some answers from Samaya, but I'm not sure if they were from the previous.
I think they might have been.
Might have been from previous, yeah.
I think we've got a little bit of a delay between our broadcast and you guys seeing it at home. Okay, in the interest of moving on, it's D, the intercostal muscles. So these are the muscles in between the ribs. Oh, I just see that Anissa and person A have both said D. Well done.
I think I've even got a bit bigger delay because they've only just came through.
And Vanessa said the same as well. Brilliant. So number 3.
Well done.
Primary function is to facilitate the exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide between the air and the bloodstream. Is this A, lungs, B, trachea, C, diaphragm, or D, intercostal muscles? So where does gas exchange happen in our body? Does it happen in the lungs, the trachea, the diaphragm, or the intercostal muscles? Just give you a moment. Hopefully you can see where the arrow is pointing. Okay, it is A, the lungs. Next question. This is a dome-shaped muscular partition. So in our diagram, it's pointing to the structure at the very bottom of the diagram, which aids in the expansion and contraction of the chest cavity during respiration. So respiration is breathing in and out, and we know that our chest cavity expands and contracts. Have we got any answers?
Yeah. Anissa's given us B.
Oh, well done, Anissa. That is correct. It is the diaphragm. Okay, onto the digestive system now. This is a proper whistle-stop tour. So on the board we've got A, ileum, B, duodenum, C, stomach, D, esophagus, and E, colon. These are all parts of your alimentary canal. I want to know what is the correct order from top down. So if you think about your food goes in your mouth, where does it go next? And where does it end up? So see if you can put that A, B, C, D, E, fiddle it around, put it into the correct order. I will give you 30 seconds. I think this one's difficult.
I think the first 2 are quite easy.
Yep.
And then
maybe the last one.
The last one
Yep.
is quite easy, but then the others are a little bit.
Yeah.
Which way does it go?
I agree. Okay, so having said that, Charlotte, which do you think is our first one?
D.
Yep, esophagus. So we put food in our mouths and then it goes not down your trachea, which goes to your lungs. It goes down your esophagus, which then goes to where? Where is
Your
next?
stomach.
Yes. I think Anissa has said she slightly got it wrong,
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so esophagus, then stomach.
Yeah.
We
And then
know
this
which
is where I
ones.
got a little bit lost. I know
So
that
what's the very last one then?
E.
Colon. Yep.
Yep.
So we just need to know, does the ileum or the duodenum come first? Let's have a look. Helps if I click
I
in the right place.
believe it could be. I would have been wrong. I would have said the ileum first.
Okay, so easiest way to remember this is if you can remember the esophagus is a tube from your mouth to your stomach, and you can remember that colon is at the end, the right way around for duodenum and ileum is alphabetical. So D comes before I, so duodenum comes before ileum, and I think that's pretty much the way that I would remember it. or you might want to come up with a little rhyme to help you remember it. Okay, I'm aware that we are nearly out of time, so let's quickly run through these. Okay, so a bubble quiz. The number of answers that are correct ranges from 0 to all 4, so let's have a look. Identify 2 functions of the stomach. So from those, which 2 are functions of the stomach? A, digestive enzyme secretion. B, formation of urine. C, food storage and mixing. D, water and nutrient absorption. So what happens in your stomach? Does anyone know? Any you're eliminating, Charlotte?
Definitely B.
Yep, I agree. Formation of urine is not a function of the stomach. Any that you're certain about do happen in the stomach?
Definitely A.
Okay. What about C, food storage and mixing?
Yes, definitely. You would assume that in the stomach, food storage would happen in there.
Yep. I think we can definitely say mixing happens because I think you can sometimes feel that, can't you? Okay, let's have a look.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yep, so the secretion of digestive enzymes and food storage and mixing. The other 2 do not happen there. Well done, Anissa,
Well done,
for saying,
Anissa.
yeah, brilliant. Okay, we'll just zip through these and then we'll finish. There are some more activities that you can see when you download the PowerPoint afterwards. Okay, identify 1 function of the colon. Remember, we said that the colon comes last in the alimentary canal, which might help. Does the colon A, filter urine, B, expel waste, C, digest food, or D, form feces? What do we think? Feces, by the way, is the scientific term for poo. So which of those do we think? Filtering urine, Charlotte, yes or no?
No.
Digesting food, yes or no?
No.
Okay.
B and D I would go with.
You go with B and D. Okay, let's see. We only want 1 though. The question says identify 1.
Oh, sorry.
So if there's only 1 that's correct out of B and D, which one would you go for?
D, I think.
D?
I think.
Okay, let's have a look. Yes, you are right. Yeah. So the colon is where the feces are formed, but they're actually expelled through your anus, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, so digestive system again. Identify 2 functions of the ileum. So does your ileum, remember it's part of your alimentary canal, which is your digestive system. So A, filter blood, B, secrete enzymes, 3, absorb water or the site of water absorption, D, is it the site of nutrient absorption? I think this one's a bit harder.
It is.
We're looking for 2 functions.
Jacqueline has given us B and D, although I'm not sure if they were the ones.
Okay. Could have been for the
Before.
previous question, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Possibly.
okay. Let's have a look then. So it's actually where water and nutrients are absorbed from the food that you've eaten. Okay, so it doesn't filter blood, that's the kidneys. Doesn't secrete enzymes, that happens much further up in your digestive system. It's where water gets reabsorbed and the nutrients get absorbed out of the food that you have eaten. I think that's all we've got time for today, Charlotte. As I said to you guys at home, please do download the PowerPoint. I've put the link in the chat. It has some extra activities on it that you can do at home. There's some labelling activities and there's some stuff on the kidneys and also on pregnancy. So,
well done, Jacqueline. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well done, Jacqueline. Okay, round of applause for everyone. And then we will say goodnight and we will see you all again soon. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.